My sincere thanks to Dr. Tripathi and the organizers. Basically the talk was assigned to me. Already major part has been covered by Dr. Kapil, the occupational cancer. I'll skip many of the slides and we'll go by the screening part. Before the slides are getting arranged, I can answer that query about this smoking and gutkahs and all. And youngsters, basically I'll come to that point once we go through this talk with the paucity of the time. And we know that the cancer is really a major threat globally. If you see in the Indian, almost every year, almost any point of time, around 25 to 30 lakh of cancer patients are there, out of which around 13 lakhs are dying every year. And if you see the developed world, the cancer incidence is different compared to the India. If you see the lung, breast and colorectal cancer is more of the developed world. Compared to in our country, you see the liver and cancer, uterine cancer, esophageal cancers and all there is a major problem. If you see the global data and the prediction till 2035, you see this is recently has came into a lot of criticism and apprehension and all discussion. Recently came into the Times of India recently, and the number of new cases you see is rising in the female. Why? Probably we are diagnosing them at very early and people are aware of this breast cancer and all. So we are diagnosing more in the ladies and less death is happening in the ladies because of better treatment, selection and execution and treatment. So I am not going to the details of the occupational cancers and all. So we know, if you see the global data, in 2007 you see what kills at work. In the occupational, 32% was the cancer, was the killer as a occupational health hazard. Once you come down, around 2015, see the cancer related, the death has gone down from 30 to 26%. Probably people are more aware now and doing these cancer checks and all on time and all. And we know this, we get exposed to all these routes and all. So it's a major problem. We are working for a prolonged period and developing after the age of retirement and all. We know all these kind of carcinogens and all already have been discussed. I'll give a very startling fact. This is, you can't ignore. It's nothing to do with carcinogen. Just go through this slide. It's just recently published. This 8th January, I saw this article. I thought it's very relevant to this kind of presentation. Nurses who are working for night shift for a prolonged period, 57% increased risk of breast cancer. It's a meta-analysis done more than 39 lakh nurses worldwide. It's a big number. And if you see GI cancer, lung cancer, what is the cause? Possibly this is because you are changed in your hormonal milieu, your sleep-wake cycle is getting delayed and change hormonal system is getting delayed, stress, obesity, everything leading to this cancer. Overall increase around 19%. If you see these professional hazard, those working as the pilots, astronauts, flight attendants, or the radiologists, technicians, everybody, nuclear workers and all, they are all prone and all. We know how to prevent and all. So occupational hazards are always there. We have to be very, very aware, and this is the role of the management and the society and all. What is the role of cancer screening? Cancer screening is basically secondary prevention. You have to do some therapeutic tools or investigations so that you can diagnose few cancers. Unfortunately, out of 200 cancer a person can have, only few cancer who have a screening has any survival or mortality benefit. So the goal is to do this, that is called secondary prevention. And example is primary prevention. What is primary prevention? Suppose a person, you give a cervical cancer vaccine, this person gets cured of, you have prevented, that is called primary prevention. Or you removed a polyp on the colon, and that is a primary prevention to protect from colorectal cancer. So secondary prevention, pitfall in the screening is many false positive things. Sometimes people lead to overdiagnosis, going from X-ray to CT to PET scan, and all this for other elements and all. So you have to be very careful. And the breast cancer screening, as we know, the clinical breast examination is the most important aspect, and in younger lot, in the below the age of 20 and all, we will teach in these schools and colleges what is the role of self-breast examination and all. And then from the 20 onwards, clinical breast examination 1 to 3 years, and after the age of 40, you can do the, along with the breast examinations, annual screening mammogram. And when there is a risk, example is how this Gell's model risk has been come into the picture. So if a person's age is more than 60, that risk is increases by 1.67 or so. So these are the persons who are high risk. So you have to do every 6 monthly examination and annual mammogram. And if there is a strong family history, we take the advantage of both. And the cervical cancer screening, there is no recommendation below the age of 21 to do a pap smear and all. From 21 to 29 years age, every 3 years you can do a pap smear. Above the age 30 to 65, take the help of HPV DNA along with the cytology, or 3 years pap smear is acceptable. So colorectal screening is very easy. Simply you have to do a stool occult blood test and take the help of, if there is anything abnormal, take the help of flexible sigmoidoscopy, that is, or if every 5 years you can do a colonoscopy. And the lung cancer, we know, and this is the only in the last 2 decades, people have diagnosed something, there is a role of screening, people are moving away of sputum cytology or chest x-ray, and this has been found irrelevant in terms of preventing mortality in lung cancer. So low dose spiral CT. So you can do as annual screening, recommended every 2 years as per the depending on the smoking status of the patient. So prostate cancer, as our previous speaker was telling, and one of the audience was asking the exact value of PSA. So you have to be very careful in differentiating the PSA value and the patient symptoms, whether it's a prostatitis, it's a BHP, diabetes, UTI, infection related. So everything has its own relation in the PSA quantification change. So never quantify by this. This is a general dictum we follow all over the world as a prostate cancer screening tool. So you have to have your own judgment and plan for the screening. And if you see the current state of cancer screening in our country, is pathetic. Unfortunately, cervical cancer, there is no organized screening program is there, lack of political will, limited infrastructure, few trained personnel, and lack of funds. And recently, the National Program on Prevention of Cancer Control, diabetes, cardiovascular, stroke, the ministry, and one of the member also, I am in the member in that group. So we have given few suggestions, but it will take a long time. So summary, cancer screening, before a person would get a cancer, you can do some tests and all. You have to be very careful in diagnosing the false positive and negative values. And definitely, and the screening in our country is still in infancy. We need a lot of political will, funds, infrastructure, trained manpower and all. So this is one of the small program run by our hospital, Apollo Hospital recently. This is a Outsmart Cancer program. Any persons are coming to the hospital, we educate them, spread the message to do a comprehensive, complete health checkup and all. So to spread the message, when you are doing a comprehensive health checkup annually, please do cancer screening as well. Along that. So many of the hospitals they are doing. If you go to many of the big corporate, in the US or other developed countries, this is mandatory. Even if suppose that you are getting an increment or your annual promotion, every year you have to submit your health education, health card with your cancer screening, then only you will get the increment. So this is mandatory in many of the organizations these days. And tips and healthy aging, you are all educated, you know everything. Go easy on alcohol, don't smoke, and do regular activities and physical activity and exercise every day to live in this kind of polluted environment and all, and you have to be fit and fine. And this is the annual cancer checkup, very simple test for the males, which has the additional serum PSA value, but you have to be very careful in interpreting those. And female, you take the advantage of pap smear and mammogram. So this is my team, and anything for regarding this, my website and my mail is there. We can have a discussion on this. Regarding that, it's a vital point. If you go to the net, you see for tobacco company registered, unregistered, both in our country is around 50 odd only. And the gutka company is more than 1,000. And anyone can tell why this gutka, when it came. Almost in the last 2 decades, 20 years back, gutkas were not there. Why gutka came into the market? Anyone can tell? Why? Anything? Any guess? Why gutka came into picture? No, problem is, see, you people are sitting here. Can you smoke? You can't smoke. You can't take pan. Traditionally going on, where to speed, all this logistics to carry a pan. So, how to devise this remark and all. Khenny is very crude, and so they modified this and put in a single pouch. And the turnover, if you see every year, it is touching around 20,000 crores every year, gutka manufacturing companies and all. So, and the all this gutka business is going all Middle East and Asia and all major supplier. And we are the brand leader of head and neck cancer because of this gutkas. So, we have to see this message should go on and all. We should educate our youngsters and all. Very pathetic to see a young fellow dying of a mouth cancer because of this and all. And see, people are sitting here. You can take out a pouch and have it. So that's why this came into the picture and all. And how to regulate this. And the government has to have, so they have to get rid of these revenues if they want to make to survive the healthy youth and all. So they have to have that kind of willpower and will. Thanks.